There's a saying, is there not? Everybody loves a trier. And absolutely, you could not say that the former role known as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, is nothing but a trier. This time around, though, going even higher. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today in a nice bright day here in London town. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you know that phrase that we have, Indian summer? Well, it is very, very mild, But of course, people say, oh, no, it's climate change. We all remember days like this from our far off youth, don't we? Well, not your far off youth, of course, you still look fabulous, absolutely. But you know what I mean? When you go to school and all the sort of leaves will be falling down and they were brown, and yet, you were told, get your winter coat out. And really, it used to be boiling, didn't you? Yes, it's January, February, in my opinion, that's the worst months because, of course, not only is it dreary after Christmas, but of course, then you're freezing. The weather really is bad, isn't it? But we always have to look forward and be positive. And apparently, that's exactly tenuous link, chums. And we had a wave, so we'll have a quick wave. The thing is, tenuous link, chums, with, of course, Prince Harry. Now, as you know, Prince Harry, sulking, can't get his own way, petulant man-child, that sort of stuff. And I've often said this to you, that I think behind the scenes, whether you want to agree with this or not, I do think that Meghan Markle must have quite a tough time with having 3 children, because if Harry can't get his own way, according to ex-staff members, it's just petulance, and you really either give in, and you can see that with the late and beautiful Diana. She tried her best, but I think, she kind of knew he was going to be a bit of a tough cookie to keep in line, whereas Prince William, certainly from the off, in my opinion, knew the boundaries. You get the picture, or at least I think knew where he shouldn't do things in public. Harry has never behaved in public. Just look back at the videos. And it's a little bit like this. This time around, as you know, he came back to the United Kingdom, ostensibly to see, of course, his father, His Majesty the King, after how many months apart. And suddenly they're, best of chums, all that sort of stuff. It wasn't really like that at all. And the bottom line really was that Harry also is still fighting away to try and get that security. And now you may have read this, but here's the bit you don't know. And this is where this gets fascinating, because we have a brand new Home Secretary. The last Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, she of course smashed the gangs. Well, she couldn't smash an egg, so they moved her sideways to a bigger job to make a mess of, called the Foreign Secretary. But of course, Harry really tried to get involved with her, and consequently during her time he was revoked any additional security outside the United Kingdom. Still gets Met Police protection each time he steps on the soil here over the United Kingdom, and of course all the other perks that go with it, but no outriders. And apparently, according to a source, when he went to Nottingham and he was trapped in traffic, all thanks to the London Tube strike, he couldn't quite believe that, right? That was a problem for him. What I think is fascinating about this, though, is that Harry himself now has reached out to the current Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, not exactly known for her, shall we say, love, as indeed her party, of the royals, right? Because let's not forget, the culture minister felt that Princess Meghan would be a better fit than Princess Catherine. Don't ever forget that, right? This is our culture minister, Lisa Nandy. And as we know, as I've told you many times, the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, he's no fan of the royals either. So Harry, again, making an absolute horlicks of this by reaching out to Shabana Mahmood. But then what happened was he wrote to her, and when he was over in London, he suggested perhaps they could have a meeting somewhere, right? To just review exactly where they are, be good to chat, etc. As ever, I have to say, allegedly, but this is from an excellent source, inside Downing Street. Now, Harry knows that the Home Secretary could not engineer a meeting with an ex-royal member without the permission of His Majesty the King. You simply couldn't do that. She didn't want to do it. She got far too much on her plate trying to just keep herself in a job, and more importantly, placate the ever-rising anger from the British public with the invasion of the migrants. You get the picture. So Harry, once again, when you think about it, is lost in all absurdity, truly believing that he is that important he could still command a meeting with the British Home Secretary. And apparently, according to the source, was rather stunned when she said, "Not on this occasion, my diary's full." Anybody else would have realised that basically, sling your oak. No, the message is there, you're not having any more security, and they wouldn't dare do it, let me tell you. They would not dare do it, simply because the British public would see this as the end of the monarchy. It's that bad, whatever people might want to think over here. And that's where Harry, of course, is right now, still fighting to make sure that he's got the protection that he truly believes he deserves. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.